Hello, Dr. Karen Can. Welcome to this week's Spiritual Medicine Digest, and we are going to be talking about intimacy. Yes, now when most people think about intimacy, they think about an intimate sexual act, but we're not talking about that. So sensitive souls often get the advice, if you will, that it's really, really important to keep our vibration high, especially when we are among people with relative low vibrations. I used to say that the biggest energy in the room wins, meaning that people will entrain to the biggest energy. So if the biggest energy is one of despair and depression, then yeah, it can be really depressing to be around that person. On the other hand, if the biggest energy in the room is someone who's very high vibe and in a state of joy and laughter, then it can be easy to entrain to that energy as well. Now, the kind of intimacy I'm talking about is very, very different from what we have been advised by spiritual leaders and circles from, very long ago to more recently. You've probably heard, keep your vibe high, right? So this is where it can get a little squirrely. So being empathetic, empathic for all of my life, what I have attempted to do in the past, ever since I can remember, from age probably 2, 3, 4, I don't know, definitely by age 5, where my mother at the time was very depressed, I tried to cheer her up. I tried to be the good girl. I tried to, be kind and compassionate and my mother's counselor, which probably at age 5 was not appropriate, but what did I know, right? What did she know? So then I realized that when I married my first husband, he was kind of like up and down with his mood. In fact, when I was in medical school, I kept diagnosing him with stuff. He didn't really like that very much. I'd be like, hey, I think you're cyclothymic, rapidly cycling, bipolar. And yeah, he didn't like that very much. Anyway, so what I tried to do is be very, very stable, just very stable, in a good mood all the time, trying to lift him up when I could, that kind of thing. And then I ended up diving down into a severe depression myself with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia because I was pretending, not really being joyful. I did learn my lesson that authenticity is so much more, let's just say, healing and able to scoop myself out of that abyss of depression and physical illness after about 2 years. Lots of spiritual growth. It was absolutely wonderful. And to be honest, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, autoimmune normally does not get healed in most people in 2 years. So I was on the fast track because I was willing to do the work, which is really cool. And since then, I've still, kept on that theme of being the highest vibration that I can be in whatever space I'm in, knowing full well that the light radius that we can emanate from our being state can actually heal people and be the light, if you will, in an area of relative darkness. However, the other day, I decided to do something very different. I noticed that this has been a theme for my life, is to do my best to hold that stability, to hold in true authenticity, of course, now, to hold that feeling of love and joy. And by joy, I don't mean like, jumping up blissful like 24/7, but just that feeling of I'm okay, I am loved, God has me, the universe has me, I am loved and held. So underlying that was, something that I kind of have most of the time, if not all of the time. But the other day I decided to descend into the quote unquote hell of a loved one, somebody that was going through a temporary dark night of the soul, if you will. And it was very intimate, meaning that I consciously chose to feel what they were feeling. Now, a lot of empaths out there and sensitive souls do not consciously choose this and often will feel other people's stuff if their vibration is not stable enough or strong enough. I'm not talking about that, where we accidentally feel other people's stuff and all of a sudden we're like, I'm so suicidal, and it's not even your stuff, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about consciously delving in to that hell with that person, knowing full well underneath all that is that stability and joy. Now, this is not for everyone. You do have to, I believe, have a degree of stability before doing this kind of work, right? And for me, it was like an experiment. Let's do this, knowing full well it's going to be temporary and, temporarily uncomfortable. But let's do this and see what it's like. And so I consciously felt into that other person's darkness, that dark night of the soul, the angst, if you will, that they were going through, and could feel the episodes of frustration. I could feel the sadness. I literally cried multiple times that day, which sort of freaked that person out a little bit. But I did tell them what I was doing. And I was able to see eye to eye with that person and really feel into what they were feeling. That sense of, if I were to put words in it, like that sense of isolation, the lost feeling, the disconnected feeling. And it was intense. I gotta tell you, it was really intense. So I wasn't trying to pretend to, try to pull this person up, or, well, I haven't pretended in a while, but you know what I mean? I wasn't trying to hold my so-called high vibration with this experience of darkness the other person was having. I literally joined them. And how did I get this idea? A crazy idea. The movie, I believe it's called What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams. Spoiler alert. Okay, so if you haven't watched it, just go la 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 la. Okay. So near the end of the movie, his wife has killed herself after her children died, her husband died, who he was. But so his soul's in heaven, she's in hell. And he decides to join her there to try to rescue her out of her own self-made hell. And really it wasn't working. And the one thing that he did not do, which he chose to do near the end of the movie, was to join her in hell. Because everyone was warning him, hey, you know what? If you stay near her for very long, you'll be stuck there. And so you better say goodbye and, go back to heaven, so to speak. And so, but he made a different decision. He made a decision to actually share her hell with her and just be with her. And that being state is so blessed. Like if you can just feel into that, like I said, this is challenging work, people. and it's not that I'm trying to make anything happen. It literally is just being with that person. Now, later on, when I went back to muscle tests and things like that, I was actually partial proxying for the person, for the loved one. About 97% of me was proxying. 3% was still Karen Can, G, and the other was the other person. So, but I was willing to do that. And it was an experiment. And like I said, I knew that I could come out of it at any time. And in fact, I did have a meeting later that day. So I did come out of it and became myself, for that hour and a half long meeting. And then went back to, proxying or partial proxying for that person. And the permission that I did get was to alleviate potentially or process some of what they were going through on their behalf. Can't always do that because sometimes they need to go through things themselves, but other times we can proxy for that person. And of course, I'm going to do TOLPAKAN Healing, make it a little bit faster or a lot faster. But the purpose was not to get rid of it. See, that's the key here I'm sharing with you. The purpose was to be in it consciously, feeling the dark feelings, feeling the sadness, the isolation, the separation, the disconnection. And that was very intimate, heart to heart. And just like in the movie, although I was not attached to that outcome, just like in the movie, interestingly, the other person seemed to pop out of it. Interesting experiment. Mind you, I was still in it consciously because there was still stuff there. So I'm sharing all of this with you not to say that you should be doing this kind of work, because it is very challenging and only the most stable, sensitive soul should be embarking on that. However, what I'd love to offer you now is a TOLPAKAN Healing Activation, just to give you that possibility that if you did choose to do this kind of work, and I would say watch the movie first so get some context, right? Then you'll be safe or safer in that stability. You should be able to pop in and pop out. So if you'd like to receive this, just go ahead and make the intention to receive. And let's go into the still point together, perhaps rubbing your hands, getting some energy and chi moving. You can shake your body, just get some energy moving. And then close your eyes. Notice the feeling in the body, the movement of energy, whether that be buzzing or waves or tingles, whatever it is, just follow the flow wherever it goes without judging it. We're entering the 0 point now as you focus on the inside of your body and feel the movement there, however big or small it is. I'll speak the TOLPAKAN Healing Activations, and you can pay attention to how your body feels while I speak the activations and make a note of it. Here we go. I now command that your capacity to expand your ability to feel into another's positive or negative emotion at will be optimized, while at the same time stabilizing who you really are, the core of your being, the fractal of source that is always loved at all times. And now command any fear around sharing another person's negative or dark emotions be erased, dissolved, and uncreated, and surrounded by compassion and with big love. I now command that our willingness to be fully intimate with another human being be optimized and maximized where appropriate in the highest and best way, all directions of time and all timelines where we exist with ease, speed, and grace. It's now commanded that our resonant energy field, when we are feeling someone else's stuff purposefully and consciously, be kept stable and optimized at all times. It's now commanded that the positive morphic field of discernment to know when it would be for the highest and greatest good to delve into that darkness with someone consciously, that ability to communicate during those times, the ability to let go of fear, and having that time to just be human, to experience the human condition. All that be healed, blessed, resolved, and on some level enjoyed, meaning that everything that we get to do and experience as a human, as an embodied soul, can be perceived as wonderful. That all that resistance and unwillingness to experience whatever it is embodied be deleted, dissolved, and uncreated, and healed permanently with ease, speed, and grace in the highest and best way, all directions of time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now command this healing be integrated and grounded with ease, speed, and grace with this all our blessings. Give her thanks and gratitude, so be it, and so it is. All right, so take a breath in and out, and you can open your eyes if it were closed. Love to get some feedback from you, how that feels in the body after that activation. I know that was quite a bit, and there may be still a little part of you that might be scared to be this intimate with someone, and maybe it's not your role or your purpose to do such. Maybe your role is to stay stable. Maybe your role is to vibrate at the high vibration of joy. However, if you feel like you would like to experiment with that, to be courageous in that, and have good awareness of making sure that you're stable before doing it, I would invite you to attempt to do that with a loved one that you care very much about. And you may find that you come to a more intimate relationship with that person because of your willingness to just be there with them, not trying to fix them, not trying to heal them, not trying to change them, but just to fully be with them. By the way, if you are liking my content on YouTube or wherever you're seeing this, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I would absolutely love that. I do have a few announcements this week. Number one, on the Light Warrior Radio podcast on Monday, we are releasing the interview I had with the wonderful and amazing Adele Good. Now, she is a sacred site explorer, and in fact, she doesn't even have a house or car. No, she travels around the world exploring sacred sites. How cool is that? And some of the fears that I've had and other sensitive souls have had in doing this kind of exploration, she addresses head on. Like, what if you don't know the language? You know, like, what do you do, right? And she helps us realize that there are sacred sites around us, possibly even in your neighborhood, that you may not have known about. And she'll share some of those signs with you, and then how you can harness potentially some of that positive vortex energy. And I realized after talking to her that I may have one literally right outside my window that I can see. Yeah, Whiteface Mountain. Go figure. Because years ago, and many people around here remember this, a man was skiing on Whiteface and disappeared. And, you know, the search was on, right? And they were looking for him. And I just thought, I'll just ask Source, you know, what's going on? Source said he walked through a portal. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to call the police about that one. So I just made the intention that he be found. And sure enough, a day or two later, he was found. I'm in upstate New York. He was found in California, still fully dressed, apparently, in his ski gear. And there was some story made up about how he hitchhiked to California in 2 days, still wearing his ski gear. That's beyond believable. Interesting. So, of course, now on Whiteface Mountain, there is a cheeky little sign on the mountain that says, to California. Yeah, so I do believe there is a dimensional portal there. And a lot of my friends have seen extraterrestrial craft in and around Whiteface. It could very well be a hidden pyramid. Do I know for sure? Not necessarily. But I think it's pretty cool that I was drawn to this area and there was some work I was supposed to be doing here. Go figure. Upstate New York. I'm a Canadian. Never thought in a million years I'd be moving to New York. So you might have a sacred site near you as well. So check out the show. Now there are pictures, kind of a slideshow. So we do have it on our podcast audio and we have it on the YouTube channel now with visuals. So if you can, check out the YouTube version of this podcast so you can see the cool pictures that Adele is showing us. And that's going to be airing Monday at 12 noon Eastern. So some upcoming cool stuff, new stuff. Just a reminder that LifeWave Ask the Doctors event, which normally is the first Monday of the month, live with Dr. Dennis, is now switched to Zoom. So every month there'll be a date, 2 p.m. Eastern on a Monday, that you can come live on Zoom to ask your question. And therefore we can show you some pictures and acupuncture points, things like that. It'll be a lot easier. The recording will be aired on the regular audio-only podcast, as well as my notes every month. We'll be taking notes for you, and if you ask a question, we'll actually write the notes for you as to what patching protocols may be helpful for you. So on the 25th of September, 2 p.m. Eastern, we will have that live call. I'll stick some of the links below where you can check it out and maybe get on the mailing list or be part of one of our communities, whether it be our Facebook community or our Light Medicine community, where we announce the events with the Zoom link, etc., etc. So go ahead and check that out. Would love to get your questions, and there's a specific form now that you can fill out with your questions. So we have all the questions in one place, and it'll be easy to see who came first, and we'll answer them in the order that we received them. So again, Monday on September 25th at 2 p.m. I hope to see you there. Now, the other thing is a reminder that the movie, the docu-series, Electric Universe, Y-O-U Universe, is going to be airing in early October, and yours truly is in this documentary. Who knew that I was going to be in 2 movies in the span of a year? amazing. Anyway, so this movie is created by my friend and former VIP client, Lloyd Burrell. You may know him from the EMF Telesummit, and he has made quite a stir with some of the telesummits he's held, and it's been absolutely wonderful to see the growth and the education that has spread throughout the world about the potential dangers of electromagnetic frequencies and what we can do about them. So that's where I come in. I'd love for you to watch that, and you can go ahead and register. The link, we'll put that near the video as well, so make sure you register. I believe it's a 4-part, kind of like a docu-series, so you will have access to those 4. And of course, if you can't watch all 4 in a row, you'll have the opportunity to purchase the movie as well, which I did, because I will not have time to watch all 4 in a row, over a span of 4 days. So I think and I want to support Lloyd, because he is some good people. That's not very good grammar, but you know what I mean. He is an absolutely amazing light warrior. So I definitely want to support him, this business. So if you feel so called, definitely check it out, and then consider supporting his business by purchasing a copy of the movie. And there's a lot of great bonuses that come with that as well. So that is the Electric Universe. Definitely want to sign up for that. And we have all sorts of other really cool things coming up. So if you're level 1, note that we do have our level 1 TOLPAKAN Healing Mentoring coming up on Tuesday. We have our Wednesday Health Freedom Tribe chat every week with myself and Leslie. And this is for people that really are health freedom advocates. So we sometimes talk about controversial things, but that's because, we have the Health Freedom Tribe chat to do that, because we've been, let's just say, censored elsewhere. And on Saturday the 30th, for our newest TOLPAKAN Level 1 trainees, we will have a prosperity healing session with me, so I'm super excited about that. And our Light Warrior Revolution members will have our Q&A and demo on the 30th as well later in the day. So lots of love to you. Have a wonderful, beautiful week, and we shall see you next week. Bye for now.